guys! So today's video is another makeup tutorial, but this one has a little bit of a twist. And I'm really excited about it because I've never done this before and I'm really curious how it's gonna turn out. So last night I couldn't fall asleep. My mind was just racing, and a lot of times when that happens I either read a book or I watch makeup tutorials. Something about it just calms me down, it's soothing, it helps me get tired. So I was on YouTube going through videos of people I'm subscribed to, but that I either haven't watched some of their older videos or I've just missed some videos. So I was on Belle Jordan's channel, and if you guys aren't subscribed to her, I will link her channel down below. She is so creative and so talented, and her makeup aesthetic is just so appealing to me because she's not afraid to go in with color. She does a dark smoky eye a lot, and that's just totally the type of looks that I like. So I was going through her channel and she had a really cool video that was warm tones versus cool tones. And she did half of her face with warm tones and half of her face with cool tones. And it was so cool to see it right next to each other, like in the same look. So I never play with cool tones. You guys know I have a serious obsession with warm tones. I'm a warm tone kind of girl. I feel like warm tones are way more flattering on me than cool tones, but I had just got this palette in the mail. This is the newest Anastasia Sultry palette. The packaging is so pretty, but there's so many cool tones in here, and I was kind of like, when I opened it, because you can see here, there's so many cool tones in this palette. This one right here is really the only warm tone. And I was like, oh, I don't know how much I'm gonna wanna play with that. And I love Anastasia shadows, as you guys know, so I felt a little bit bummed at how cool this was. And then I saw her video and I thought that that would be so much fun to wake up and film this with you guys and use this palette but show you the difference between warm tones and cool tones. And maybe I will end up enjoying the cool tones, you never know. So yeah, that's today's video. So I decided, because the base is gonna be the same on both sides, and because you guys have seen me do my foundation, concealer, powder a million times, I'll go ahead and just throw some music over that and time lapse it and speed through. And then we'll come back and do the eyes and the blush and the bronzer and the contour and the lip and all the things that there's a cool version and a warm version, so we can compare and see how each side turns out. So before we get into this, if you are not subscribed to my channel already, please subscribe down below. I would love to have you here, and I'm really enjoying filming again, so the more the merrier. Come and do makeup with me. I like to do these kind of casual format videos where I'm just sitting kind of in my room and actually doing my makeup for the day. So let me know if you guys want to see any other type of makeup videos, if you want to see more formal videos, if you want to see more in-depth tutorials. Your feedback is really helpful to me, and I want to create content that you guys want to see. So definitely don't be afraid to comment below and let me know how you're liking the content that I've been putting out so far. So I will go ahead and do my base and show you guys what I'm doing, and I will link everything I used down below in case you missed something or if I skip over it accidentally and don't mention what I'm using. Okay, so now I've got my base down. I used my Woke Up Like This foundation, I used Tarte Shape Tape concealer, and I used my Seal the Deal loose translucent setting powder in the classic shade. And then I put some extra powder under my eyes here so that we can catch all the fallout from the eyeshadow. I really like to do this when I'm working with new shadows that I don't know how they're gonna react. I saw that there's like a black in this palette, any sort of dark shadows that could potentially ruin your base makeup. Some of these, you know, dark things could really look like a bruise if they get caught to my makeup and I try to dust it away and it smears. So the translucent powder under the eyes will just catch all that fallout and make it so easy for us to sweep it away when we're done. So let's go ahead and get started. I think what I'll do is start with the warm side, and we'll do the warm eye and then we'll do the cool eye. So I have two warm palettes here, and I think we'll dip into both of them. So this is the Natasha Denona Sunset palette, and this is like me in a palette. This is such a gorgeous palette. You guys know how much I love golds and oranges and reds and these yellows and coppers. So this has been a very long time favorite of mine, and this is like the tones that I gravitate to every day. And then I've also got this ColourPop palette. It's called Cute AF, and this has some really pretty tones in here as well. And this is sort of a knockoff of the Natasha Denona palette, if we're being honest, for like a fraction of the price. But I do like it for travel because it's so thin and lightweight, and it's got all these shadows I really like. So you guys can already tell the difference between the warm palette and the cool palette and just how different the tones are. So I'm really interested to play with them on the eyes and see how they look next to each other. So I'm gonna go ahead and start with a neutral shade in the crease, and I'm gonna go into this ColourPop palette and this shade called Big Cocktails right here. And I'm just gonna take a fluffy brush and work that into the crease. Next, I'm gonna go into this orange shade called Champs, using that same fluffy brush. And then going into the Natasha palette, I'm gonna take this sort of deeper orange and continue to build that warmth through the crease. Now I'm gonna take a smaller, more dense brush, and I'm gonna go in with this even deeper, sort of really warm toned brown at the top here from the Natasha palette, and just stamp that on my outer V. I almost just went to the other eye. I'm so used to doing like one color and one color, and so I never do one eye and then go to the other eye. I do them at the same time, so I have to retrain myself for this video. And then we're just gonna take that fluffy brush and blend out those edges. Okay, and then the deepest shade we're gonna go in with, I'm taking an even smaller, more dense brush, and this is this really rich, deep brown from the Natasha palette, and I'm just going to further deepen up that outer V, and that's gonna also kind of define the lash line over here and kind of start to build that liner look. You know what, that's not coming off as pigmented as I like, so I'm gonna go into this ColourPop palette, into this shade here called Mischief, and see if this brown is a little bit more saturated. There we go. And then I'm gonna take that fluffy brush and just blend that out as well. Okay, so now you guys can see we've got this super warm toned, really fiery orangey eye, and that's like my favorite color scheme to work with, so I'm loving the way this is looking. And now I'm gonna go in with a gold, and this is one of my favorite gold shadows of all time. This gold shade from the Natasha Denona palette. I think it's so beautiful. I think that of any gold I've ever worked with, this one is my favorite. It's the perfect mix between being yellow enough that it's a true gold. It's not like a champagne or a pinky shade, but it's not that antique, super brassy yellow. It's just a perfect true gold, and I've always loved this shade. And I'm gonna take this on my finger. Natasha's shimmers work best on your finger because they are a little bit looser and crumblier. So when you're working with a brush, the brush can either have a really hard time picking them up, or it just falls down on your face when you take the brush to the eye. So pressing it in with your finger is going to be the best way to work with her shadows. So as you can see, this metallic shade is super pigmented and it's a very, very warm gold. So I think it's beautiful with this look and the warm tones that we have on the crease. So now let's go and do the liner, and I'm gonna do a wing with this, I think. I am feeling it. I wanna do a wing. I thought about doing like a brown pencil liner because I don't have a brown liquid liner to do a wing with, but I think that this makeup look will just be beautiful with a wing. To keep with the warm tones, I'm gonna go in with my favorite brown liner of all time, and this is by Marc Jacobs in the shade Earthquake. And this is just a beautiful, rich brown color that is so beautiful with warm tone looks because it really complements the golden warm browns and everything that we have going on the lid and just ties the whole look together. So I'm gonna go ahead and line my eyes. And I'm also gonna line my upper waterline. And now I'm gonna go back into the ColourPop palette to that dark brown shade to help smoke out that liner and just build more warmth along that lash line. Okay, so now that we have the warm side done, I am going to wipe away this fallout and then we'll go in with the cool side. So to wipe out the fallout, I'm just taking my Kat Von D 25 brush. You guys know how much I love the taper of this. And I'm gonna dip into a little bit of Seal the Deal powder just so that it can grab the fallout. I'm just gonna wipe that away. Now we're gonna go in with the cool tones, and hopefully this doesn't pain my soul too much. I never use cool tones, but I'm excited to try and I might like them more than I think. So like we'll play with this silver since we played with the gold on this eye, and yeah, we'll see how it goes. I am going to be open-minded here and try to embrace the cool tones. So to start off, we will go in with this just sort of matte shade here called Fresh and just kind of put an overall base onto the lid. Okay, next, this is gonna be weird for me, guys. I'm going to take a clean, fluffy brush, and we are going to go into this cool, very cool toned grayish brown called Twig, and just dust that into the crease. Okay. So now that we've kind of got our transition, I'm gonna go in with a smaller brush and dip into this really gray shade over here called Slate. I'm just gonna work that into the crease a little bit lower than we just put that Twig shade. And then I'm gonna take a small dense brush and I am going to dip into this sort of charcoaly brown called Dystopian. And I'm just gonna stamp that onto the outer V. And then I'm gonna take this smaller brush that we had Slate on and take a little bit more Slate and just blend that out. And then I'm gonna take that original fluffy brush that we went in with Twig in the transition area and just blend everything together at the edges. Okay, now I am going to go in with this silver called Cyborg, I think. It could be totally off with that pronunciation. I don't know what word that is. I'm gonna take that with my finger. I also find that the Anastasia shimmers perform best with my finger. This is a really beautiful shade, and I have to say, I'm not hating this. Like, it's pretty. And I'm just gonna press that into the lid on the inner portion where we put the gold shade on the other eye. Okay, now I'm gonna go back with that small dense brush that we used for that dark charcoal brown and go into the black shade Noir just to deepen up that outer V a little bit more. And then I'm gonna blend that into the darker shadows. Blend that into the crease. Okay, Now let's go ahead and do liner, and since we went in with a brown on this side, we're gonna go in with a black on this side. I'm gonna go in with this Urban Decay 24/7 Glide On Eye Pencil in Perversion. This is a very black. And like we did on this side, I'm gonna line my upper waterline as well. Okay. Now I'm gonna smoke out that liner because I always do that. I never just line my eyes and leave it. I always like to smoke it out. And I'm gonna take a tiny little brush and dip back into that noir shade and just run that over the liner on the lash line. Okay, now I'm gonna dust away all of this fallout so that we can move on to the lower lash line, and then we'll go in and do the rest of the face. This is so crazy to me to see the difference between the cool and warm tone side. So now we will go ahead and do the lower lash line. I'm gonna take that brown Marc Jacobs eyeliner and line the warm side. And then I'm gonna take this little Sigma flat definer brush and smoke out that liner using the brown shade from the ColourPop palette. Then I'm gonna take this tiny little rounded dome brush and I'm gonna dip in to the Natasha palette. Those same oranges and warm browns we used on the crease and the lid, I'm just gonna smoke out that dark brown shadow on the lower lash line to help have the same effect on the bottom as we have going on the top here. Okay, now I'm gonna go in and line my lower waterline with Earthquake. Okay, and then I'm gonna go in one more time and just blend that out. Okay, so now let's go ahead and do the lower lash line on the cool tone side. And I'm gonna start with my black liner that I used on the upper lash line from Urban Decay. Okay, I'm actually not because that broke. I'll take this Ardency In eyeliner and go in on the lower lash line on the cool tone side. And I'm also taking that into the waterline. Now we're just gonna smoke that out using a mixture of Twig, Dystopian, and Slate. Okay, so this is the warm side and the cool side. You can see they're completely different, and it's pretty wild how drastic like the color tone and schematic can change the way that your skin and your hair and your whole coloring looks. So let's go finish the face with our cool side and our warm side. I'm gonna go in with a cool contour and a warm contour. And I'm actually gonna use my Kat Von D Shade and Light palette. I feel like this is actually a perfect example because this shade over here, I don't dip into very frequently because it's so gray and a little bit too cool for me. And this shade here is my favorite because it's that more warm undertone contour. So you can see the difference. So on the cool side, I'm gonna go in with this shade, and on the warm side, I'm gonna go in with this shade. Okay, now we're gonna go in with bronzer, and the warm tone bronzer that I'm gonna use is by YSL, and this is in the shade 02. And as you can see, it's a very orange-based warm tone bronzy color, and this is the type of color I typically go for. And this is the Tarte Park Avenue Princess bronzer, and you can tell they're just very, very different in tone. This is much cooler, and this is much warmer. Okay, so I'm back. The brows are done and the lashes are on. I don't really change the color of my brow products. I use a pretty like neutral tone. I don't like anything that's too ashy and too gray on the brows, but I also don't go super warm. So I just use my same Anastasia Brow Wiz in soft brown for both sides. And then I put my Lily lashes in the style Mykonos. So now let's line the lips and go in with our lipstick. So for cool tone liner, I'm gonna use this Bite Beauty lip pencil in the shade 050. And as you can see, It's sort of just like this greigey, taupey, cool toned nude, like a deep nude, but it's definitely more cool toned. It doesn't have that peachy brown base to it. It's got that more purpley, greigey taupe. So we're gonna do that paired with George, which is also pretty cool toned. This is my liquid lipstick. So this is what George looks like with the Bite Beauty 050 pencil. So this is definitely a more cool tone combination. And then for the warm side, I'm gonna go in with Bite Beauty lip pencil in the shade 036, which is definitely a more peachy brown tone based nude, and Leo, which is a peachy nude as well. So as you can see, this is gonna be the warm combination and this is gonna be the cool combination. So there's definitely more of that orange kind of peachy undertone here, and there's definitely more of that purpley gray taupey undertone here. Okay, so this is the completed look. This is the warm side and this is the cool side. I'm actually shocked at how much I like the cool side. This is definitely more in my comfort zone here with these warm tones, and this is what I wear all the time. But this is a look I would have never done unless I was doing this video to compare them. And I actually really love it, and I'm totally inspired to play with more cool tones and not write them off as easily as I do right now. I currently never reach for my cool tone shadows, and it's actually pretty sad that I neglect an entire color family of really beautiful colors that actually looks amazing. I'm gonna go fix my hair, put on my outfit for the day, and I will be back and we can discuss this whole situation. Okay guys, so this is the completed look. I had so much fun filming this video because I never work with cool tones, and I think it's somewhere along the line I just decided I don't like cool tones, and so I never dip into them, and it was so fun to play with them, and I'm actually shocked how much I like the cool tone side, especially for fall because warm tones have such a golden, glowy, you know, bronzy kind of summery vibe to them. So playing with some cool tones for fall actually has me really excited, and I feel like now I have so much makeup sitting in my vanity that I can use that I never reach for because I feel like it's all cool tone and it's just, I don't like them. But I do enjoy this. I still think I prefer the warm side with my coloring, but I don't hate the cool side. I really like it. I'd be curious to know how many of you guys gravitate towards warm tones or cool tones. And I'd also be curious to know which side is your favorite. This is the cool side. Obviously, it's a little bit deeper and a little bit smokier. And this is the warm side, which is obviously a little bit more bronzy and glowy and a little bit more summery. But I love them both, and it's just so fun to see them side by side and how different cool tones and warm tones can make your entire look. So yeah, this was really fun. I hope that you guys had a good time, and kind of cool to just see the different color families that play next to each other. My next launch is coming in just a couple weeks, and it is an eyeshadow palette. So I have lots more tutorials planned doing different eye looks. I've been using this palette for almost like 8 months now, so I have a lot of looks kind of saved up that have been my go-to looks with this palette, and I can't wait to demonstrate them and show you all the shades inside and just introduce her to you. So yeah, I hope you're having a great day wherever you are, and I will see you in my next video. Bye guys!